In the past videos, we have never moved into the subject of naval warfare. So let's get a video in place on the longship. So in today's video, we'll investigate how the longship works and also see in which way we can draw inspiration from it for your own fantasy setting. Let's get into it. Hi guys, my name is Jesper and welcome to the Fane of Fantasy. This channel is all about giving you inspiration to master your craft and create fantasy that will truly immerse your audience. We already have 4 videos on the channel about the Vikings, so you will already know by now how these guys travel far and wide. They were truly lords of the sea, who fearlessly dared the ocean. They were in fact the first Europeans to reach America around year 1000. It was long before Columbus ever got there. The longship, also called dragon ships, you gotta love something with such a name, right? They were designed for warfare and exploration. They were equipped with oars to complement the sail and moved with great speed and agility, independently of the wind, mind you. The design was a long ship, and with a narrow hull, they were able to facilitate troop deployments in very shallow water. Not too far from where I live, in fact, there is a city called Roskilde. And it has well-preserved remains of 5 longships. These were all excavated from nearby in the late 1960s. They had been deliberately sunk by the Vikings there in the 11th century to block a navigation channel to protect the city of Roskilde from seaborne assaults. You see, back then Roskilde was the Danish capital, so it hasn't always been Copenhagen. Even more remarkably, discoveries were to follow in 1996, when contractors began expanding Roskilde's waterfront museum, which was originally built to house those 5 ships. And as astonishing as it may sound, no fewer than 9 wrecked medieval ships eventually turned up in different spots around the building site, including one right under the museum's car park. The most striking discovery was a longship of 119 feet, with room for at least 72 oars and a crew of 100. With a draft of only 3 feet and a huge 2,175 square foot sail, the ship must have been swift and absolutely formidable. Well, due to how these dragon ships were built, they were great for raiding too. This is what you see to a great extent in the HBO series Vikings. The ships could cross the open ocean under sail and then switch to oars for lightning fast hit-and-run attacks on undefended towns and monasteries. In the Middle Ages, there was basically nothing the contemporary English and Frankish vessels could do to stop them. Nothing. The ships carried this recognizable square sail and the dragon head on the bow. This dragon head was in fact there to protect them against the evil spirits of the ocean, which the Vikings believed in. Though I'm pretty sure that those watching these ships approach from the beach would have seen the dragon heads pretty intimidating as well. The secret of the Viking ship lay in its unique construction. Using a broad axe rather than a saw, expert woodworkers would first split oak tree trunks into long, thin planks. Then they fastened the boards with iron nails to a single sturdy keel, and then to each other, one plank overlapping the next. The Vikings gave shape to the hull using this clinker technique rather than the more conventional method of first building an inner skeleton for the hull. Next, the boat builders affixed evenly spaced floor timbers to the keel and not to the hull, because this ensured resilience and flexibility to the ship. They then added cross beams to provide a deck and rowing benches, and also secured a massive beam along the keel to support the mast. Modern replicas of the longship have achieved speeds up to 14 knots, which I think is amazing. Just think of how fast this truly is, and especially if you are considering that this is during the medieval ages. It's just amazing. There is another intriguing reference in the HBO series Vikings. When they finally managed to reach England, it's due to the Sunstone. Now, scholars believe it possible this stone was something called feldspar. It's a mineral found in Iceland that polarizes light, and theoretically this might have helped to indicate the direction of the sun when the clouds obscured the view. That said, its practicality is doubtful, and it would require some blue sky to work, and would thus have proved completely useless in total overcast. There aren't much evidence of the sun compass that Ragnar Lodbrok uses in Vikings either. A fragment of a small wooden disc was found in Greenland, or in a Greenland monastery, which some have viewed as a kind of bearing dial for finding north and south. I just have to tell you something, that my wife and I have this ongoing joke about how in every single episode of Vikings they seemingly have this need to say Ragnar Lodbrok like 5 times. Have you noticed this? It's crazy, like we know what the guy's called. So anyway, the disc has a hole in its center, and the theory suggests that it originally fitted over a central pin to cast a shadow. This sort of device does work, yet many have questioned if the Greenland disc was actually used in this way or not. It is less than 3 inches across, and the markings around the perimeter of the disc are so crudely carved that it raises some doubts. Personally, I find it more likely that they navigated by the stars and the sun, and birds would then indicate the location of the nearest land. I'm curious to know if you have any thoughts on this, so do let me know in the comment section below. Especially if you have more to add, then please go ahead. While you're typing in the comment section below, then hit the like button too, and share this video with a friend. So we talked about how the vessels were also used for long distance travel, and as covered in the other Viking inspired infantry videos, we also know that the Vikings not only went to America, they also went to Asia. I guess the idea to take away for inspiration has to be one of exploration. Wouldn't you agree? I think that makes sense. So traveling to faraway places are always good ground for interesting settings. So you could create a very interesting place that the people can visit in your fantasy setting, and then show how a longship needs to be built to get there. The ship is probably 30 meters long and can carry 80 people or so, and it's probably going to take months to construct it. So during this time, you could use that to show some unique aspects of your own version of a Viking culture. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? I mean, just try to imagine what a Viking fleet would look like under full sail. Feel free to share some great ways in which you have used boats in your fantasy setting. Now, my example here might not have been the most brilliant one, so please spice it up for me. That way others can get some great ideas out of the comment section. Also, join the community over at Patreon. I would love to hear more about you and what you are all about. If this is your first time here, then make sure to subscribe for new videos every single week. Stay safe out there and see you next Monday.